What's up, everyone? It's Ben Alonzo from ultratechlife.com here in beautiful, sunny Orlando, Florida on a warm Saturday for HamCation. It's part HamFest, part computer electronics trade show. Back from a long hiatus because of the coronavirus pandemic, so I was worried a little bit here. I attended this for a long time. A lot of these trade shows, as a tech guy, as a scientist, I love coming to these things. There's new stuff here, old stuff. It's a little bit of nostalgia. I've always told people, every single, especially the older stuff here, boat anchors, whatever you want to call them, the Heathkits, Collins, they have a story behind them. So for me, I'm not necessarily buying a bunch of stuff here, but I love walking around. I love meeting people, talking to them about their equipment. They tell me, their perspective, how this started, how they got this, and then where it's going today. And it's just unbelievable to see all this history all over the place. There are radios here from the 30s and 40s. I met someone today who flew in here just to look for ancient old radios so he can restore them. So not only their consoles, so the wood part on the outside, he refinishes that, but then also fixes the guts inside, which is tubes and all that. It's getting harder and harder to find those parts, but that's pretty cool. That's like museum stuff for me here. So I love seeing this. For me, ham radio started because of my interest in storm spotting and storm chasing. So Skywarn, FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, Radio Amateur Civil Emergency Service, eventually into the commercial side and emergency medical service with my background in that, but it's always been some part of communication. So nowadays, a lot of digital stuff going on, not just in the ham radio world, but of course in the commercial world. The bandwidth has gotten a lot bigger for like the stuff we can do with weather and satellites. The availability, accessibility has become even greater, and the prices have gone down for some of the software stuff. So it's actually pretty cool as a hobbyist, as an amateur radio operator. So these are people that are licensed by the FCC to kind of explore electronics in that. For me, as a teen, when I first got my tech, then I went to general and then advanced, you learn about electronics and that, so you're able to safely take this stuff apart. You're learning about frequency, bandwidths, the law, what you can and can't do, safety, because the RF, for example, heats human tissue, so there's cancer risks, things like that. So messing with stuff, that's what it's kind of all about. And that brings me back to the scientist in me. So I love walking around, meeting people, seeing all the, frankly, junk and the good stuff. There's some good stuff, like I saw this old-timey Bearcat scanner, and I think this was before my time. I don't remember what this, I'm gonna have to look this up. Maybe someone can answer in the comments. Look at this thing. The way it scans, I think this has like 5 or 6 programmable channels, and it had a LED that looked like that Knight Rider going back and forth until it landed, the squelch was open or something on a frequency, which is just really cool, nostalgic. It's that kind of stuff. I used to, 10 years ago, maybe I would buy that for no reason other than put it on the shelf in my shack or something like that. But now I'm kind of here just kind of documenting. I'm gonna write a couple of articles about this. And for me, it's good for my brain, the stress that I'm under, to come out here and hear about these stories and see all this history out here, which is pretty cool. I'm glad there was a turnout. It looks pretty good. I've got a lot of comments from people saying it wasn't as big as what they expected. Nowhere near still as big as Dayton. I haven't been to Dayton yet, but it's very nice out here, and it does look like there's a good crowd, considering we just came out of this shutdown with the pandemic where we didn't have this at all. So I think a lot of people are happy to get back out here and to see the new stuff and to look around the swap tables.
Compared to about 20 years ago, you definitely have more options as far as what you can do in ham radio these days and the entry-level price point. You can get a nice dual-band handheld or a mobile radio now for around $100, maybe even under $100 if you try the lower quality import stuff that's out there. There's also this trend, a definite trend, at least in the past 10 years, of a heavy digital presence in ham radio, and it's very interesting to see just how small things are getting now, too.
What we're looking at today is the IC705. It is a QRP portable radio. You can connect it to an external power source, or on the back of the radio, the battery pack that we also use for a handheld for VHF, UHF. This is a QRP radio. With this battery pack, it's 5 watts. With external power source of 13.8 volts, it will put out 10 watts on HF, 6 meters, 2 meters, or 440.
Something real quick here too. So what you're holding in your hand, that's the entire unit or part of it?
That is the entire unit.
Okay.
The battery pack on the back, you connect your antenna here.
That's BNC?
That is a BNC connection for it. We do have an external antenna tuner, so you can use just a random wire for HF. You can use a dual band antenna for it, as well as resonant antennas, and you don't need an antenna tuner.
You better think quick, because I'm loading. I'm out of here. You leaving? Oh, yeah, I got 500 people. Where are you going to go? Yes, Alabama.
So this is a Flex 6600M. We also have its little brother, the 6400M. It looks identical, other than, of course, the label will be different and a few things on the back. But other than that, they're pretty much the same performance value. This radio, you may have heard that SDR radios require a computer to get on the air. You can actually take this radio and sit it on a picnic table. You could hook up a battery, an antenna, and you can be on the air. It is all self-contained. The radio does all the work with the SDR signals, or the RF signals, whereas most dongles we have today, a dongle or a black box, the computer does 50% of the heavy lifting. So with even a top-end radio like this is a high-performance 16-bit type of decoding and breaking down and getting it into numbers, I can still connect to this with my iPhone and get on the air. So the website's www.flexradio.com. And when you buy one of our radios, whether it's the 6400, 6600 series, they come complete. Now you have to supply your own antennas and your own power supply, but you can get on the air, hand mic, ready to go. And the software comes with free updates unless we do a major version change. That's the part before the decimal point. And then last time it was $199 for a whole lot of feature functionality improvement.
So overall, HamCation was pretty cool this year. Given the hiatus we had because of the pandemic, it was a pretty good turnout. And this was pretty fun to look around. I hope you enjoyed the video, all the new and used stuff. Check out the people that we interviewed. Of course, my personal social media, if you like science and tech stuff, that's what I'm into. That's what I talk about and post about all the time and write articles and do videos about. Check out my social media. Don't forget to like and subscribe to ultratechlife.com. Check us out on Facebook and on Twitter at UltraTechLife. Thanks for watching.